Well, typically the Reds, and we got to start off with Pete, the hit king. Um, it was just kind of weird. Like I think Dikembe and Pete were the same day,
Mm-hmm.
which is nuts. But yes, we lost one of the greatest baseball players to ever play the game. And it's always a sad day, bad day. But he lived a great life at the age of 83, without some bumps in the road, which we'll get to here in a second. But just going over his accolades, a spokesperson. Hey, Justin, a spokesperson for the Clark County Office of the Coroner/Medical Examiner announced on September 30th that Pete Rose had passed away. They said it was from natural causes, so they didn't say exactly. I guess just old age and whatever. Just finally got to him. Gambling transgressions aside, Pete Rose was one of baseball's greats who holds the record for all-time hits in MLB with 4,256. Now he played for 27 years, so
Yeah.
it's not like it did, but still,
Yeah.
he's called Mr. Hustle and all of that just because he just played a game. He played the game like it was every game like it was his last one
Mm-hmm.
when he was playing. And and accolades wise, he is a three-time World Series champion, twice with Cincinnati in 1975 and 1976, once with the Phillies in 1980, 17-time All-Star, 65, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 85. Feels like I'm just counting at that point.
Right.
NL MVP in 73, World Series MVP in 75, NL Rookie of the Year in 63, two-time Golden Glove, 69, 70, Roberto Clemente Award for in 1976. His jersey retired of number 14 with the Cincinnati Reds, and he was inducted to the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Which now we will get to the you know the
Yeah.
elephant in the room, as you would
Right.
say. Due to betting while he was managing, Pete Rose was put on the ineligible list for the Baseball Hall of Fame, but has continuously tried to get reinstated. The latest in 2022 with a letter to Rob Manfred. In March of 2023, Manfred was asked whether or not MLB's emerging partnerships with sportsbooks would have an effect on Rose's ban. Manfred quickly shot down speculation about possible reinstatement and later affirmed his stance. When further asked about it, all the season's All Star games. So with and I know, so you've got your thoughts here,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as we've always said, like, and those are the rules are the rules,
Yeah.
but
Them's the rules.
them's the rules. That's just kind of how it is. But this also, the commissioner that did it, that
Mm-hmm.
banned him, basically died like a month later. So
Yeah.
he wasn't able to. He basically was like his last, like, on his deathbed, being like, screw Pete Rose. Which, if you look into it, like, off the field, Pete Rose wasn't the greatest dude
Yeah.
ever, but who's perfect? But it's just thing is, like, you get in the Hall of Fame not based off of your off the field transgressions, which is
Yeah.
why it was a travesty. Terrell Owens, they just held him off just for a pissing contest. Same thing with Derek Jeter. Like, a couple people didn't vote him unanimously in when people, just because there just had some like personal vendetta against him.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Terrell Owens. Like, he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer when he should have been, just because he was Terrell Owens, and some sort of sports writers just were high and mighty and all that stuff as far as ego wise. It's kind of the same thing with Pete Rose. Yes, he denied it, and so they just went ahead and banned him. Because, I mean, he even bet when he was managing the Reds. He even bet on the Reds to win, or he even bet on the Reds, which is why people looked at it. Obviously, he finally, there was never proven, but he finally did kind of come out and say that, yeah, I did. Years later, to maybe get on the good side with the sports books and stuff. I mean, the NFL, they still suspend players because they're not allowed to bet on said game. They're allowed to bet on any other thing, but they can't bet on the same sport because that they're associated with. So if Pete Rose wasn't managing and was retired from baseball and wasn't doing
Different
anything,
story. Yeah.
that's a different story. He was doing it while he was actually could manipulate the books, basically, in that regard. So like Stephen A came off with the one thing, and this is where the Dems the rules based off of, but it's still stupid. Of, like, murders get off easier than what Pete Rose went through.
Yeah.
So, and watch him get in the Hall of Fame now, because it was a lifetime ban, and so his life has
Yeah.
unfortunately ended.
And that's
So
what
now he's gonna
Justin
get,
put here. I say
yeah,
Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame next year.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I got some thoughts about
yeah,
this. they could never prove that he bet against the Reds. And so, yeah, I mean, he was betting on the Reds to win, but that's just having confidence in your team. No, well,
Right.
but yeah, them's the rules. Besides that, I think MLB has done a disservice to Pete Rose, who's legend of game. Even if him as a person doesn't match him as an athlete, which we're talking about him as an athlete right now.
Mm-hmm.
My viewpoint too, when it comes to players and coaches who bet on games, we see this in multiple sports. Multiple sports are promoting sports books, betting. We see it in soccer. They have the actual like betting sponsor
Right.
on their jerseys, on their kits, and I just find it hypocritical.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Especially when players who should be banned for things like DV don't get banned, but then they'll get banned for and have like a zero tolerance when it comes to betting. So like Deshaun Watson, he's still playing. Mason Greenwood in soccer, he's still playing. Like, and we're seeing no consequences really for these players who have done a lot worse in
Yeah.
their personal lives. So to me, I always have like, I think that players and coaches should not bet on sports, especially the sports they play, especially with the teams that they play or coach for. However, when it comes to what other players and coaches are able to get away with, I find it as a disservice to Pete Rose.
Yeah. I mean, it pretty much is like there's, I mean, a lot of off the field stuff, but I mean, I believe, and somebody can correct me. I know obviously this happened after he was retired and did all that stuff, but O.J. Simpson, I'm pretty sure, is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and they didn't yank his stuff out. So, you know, and all Pete Rose, and the only thing it's just in the obviously the Black Sox. That's a watch 8 Men Out. It's a great movie.
Mm,
Watch that. So the Say It Isn't Show, Say It Ain't Sojo. With that, obviously and then you can go into the can of worms that is the steroid era with
yeah.
Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds. Um, I forget the
I
Orioles.
mean, low key saved baseball. I mean, even
Yeah,
though like I don't agree with it, and I don't think anyone should be roided up, but you can't deny its effects on people wanting to watch the game.
no, no. I mean that I will never forget them going after Maris's record. And it was just, I mean, people were, I remember one time he was like at 60 or 61 or something like, or might have been at 61. And they called him out and he got kicked and they kicked him out of the game. And I mean, the Cardinals fans were throwing, I mean, I think the game was suspended for a good 10 to 20 minutes of them just having to clean off all the trash that the fans were throwing on the field. And so you just never. I don't remember the last time we saw that because even when Barry Bonds was going for it, everyone kind of knew, so it
Yeah,
wasn't as big of a deal. Especially when you had two guys
you
just
just
going
had all
at
the
it.
signs with the asterisks on it.
Yeah, yeah. You said all
Yeah.
the signs with the asterisks on it, so that's why Aaron Judge's when he broke Maris's record is looked at so crazy, and then Shohei Ohtani going 50-50.
Mhm.
Now, granted, they say that the new rules now make it easier to steal bases. You still got to steal them.
Right.
So, and you're a pitcher, and to go 50 home runs and over 50 stolen bases is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Um,
Crazy.
so,
Uh, Justin here saying you should go into the Hall of Fame based on your stats and career. There are men in Hall of Fame who are not saints.
no, no,
Yeah.
no. It just seems so petty.
Yeah.
It's just the biggest pissing petty thing of in sports. It was
Yeah.
Pete Rose. Like if you look up petty in the dictionary, it's MLB versus Pete Rose. That's petty.